Welcome to CareLink SF, eClinicalWorks, EMR Training, Student. Learning objectives, documenting visit and a telephone encounter, adding your student note disclaimer, and assigning your telephone encounter to your attending. First things first, make sure you are logged in under your own ECW account. You will see your name on the top left-hand side. Search for your patient using the patient lookup icon. You may search by name, social security number, date of birth, MRN, or etc. We'll go ahead and search for a test patient by MRN. Once you have verified the patient information, double-click on your patient's name to access the patient's hub. In CareLink SF, all student documentation will be done via telephone encounters. Your attending will be able to review and merge your notes from the telephone encounter into the patient's progress note. From the patient hub, click on New Telephone Encounter. In the telephone encounter, change the time of the telephone encounter to before the actual appointment time. For instance, if the patient has a scheduled appointment at 2 p.m., update the time to 1:30 p.m. This will allow your attending to merge your notes into the patient's progress note. Update the reason to student note by using the drop-down or by free typing into the reason box. Click on the Virtual Visit tab to open up your note for today's visit. You may expand your view by clicking on the Progress Notes option at the bottom of this window. Close out of the patient's hub, and you will see an expanded view of your note, which is very similar to the patient's registered progress note. At the top of your note, you will see the patient's dashboard, which includes basic information about the patient, such as their contact information, date of birth, patient's preferred language, and whether or not a translator is needed. The following row of options are patient hub options, where you can access information such as lab results, diagnostic imaging tests, past encounters, and more. The right chart panel is also available for you to view an overview of the patient's medical record, previous test results, patient's history, and other pertinent health information. You may document your note for the visit using the blue links under your subjective, objective, assessment, and plan sections of the note. Click on the Chief Complaint link and add any notes if necessary. You may document your subjective by clicking on HPI. On the left-hand side, you may select a specific category to chart under. Otherwise, you can simply document under Interim History. On the right-hand side, you will notice other subcategories. You may chart under these sections, or you can simply free text under the Notes section. You can navigate to different sections of your note using the icons above. Notice if you hover over each icon, you will see its corresponding section of the note. You can also click on the Encounter or Physical to access these icons. You may also use the bottom left and right arrows to navigate to different sections of the note. When you close out of this window, the information will be automatically saved. To pull current meds into the progress note, click Current Medication. Reconcile medications accordingly. As discussed with your patient, note each medication as taking, not taking, unknown, or discontinued. For example, if a patient is no longer taking an antibiotic. If you would like to add a medication to this list that the patient reports as taking, type the name of the medication in the Add Medication field and select the appropriate strength. Notice that when you close this box, the medication list will appear in your note. As discussed with your patient, review and update the patient's medical history, allergies, GYN and OB history, surgical history, hospitalization history, family history, and social history. Click on Medical History and add or update medical history here if needed. For allergies, you can add structured medication allergies by clicking Browse RX. Complete the reaction, type, and status of the allergy. To add an environmental allergy, click Add. You'll choose Non-Structured and free text or choose from the drop-down below. Complete the reaction, type, and status. Once you close out of this box, your note will auto-populate with this information. Click into GYN history if needed and add any information here. Click into surgical history and add any surgical history or hospitalization history here. Click into family history. Here you can update the history for family members. You may also click into the Notes section and free type history here for family members. Close out, and the information will automatically populate your note. Click into Social History. You may add any social history here or free type in the Notes section below. Click on ROS to complete the review of systems. Symptoms will appear on the left. Click on the green arrow to push Denies the related symptoms. Click again on the Presence column if the patient complains of these symptoms. You can use the pre-populated notes related to the symptom, or you can click on the Notes section and free text as well. Default for all denies all symptoms. You can save default ROS for yourself by clicking on the caret next to default per category and click Save As. Name your ROS, and it will be available here for you in the future. Close out of this box and you can review your ROS in the note. Click the examination link to enter your examination in the corresponding fields. The green arrow will default to normal observations. Otherwise, click into the section and free text. Close out of this window and view your examination here. Click in the assessment section, and you can select from the patient's previous assessments or from the patient's problem list. Otherwise, you can search your assessment, your ICD-10 code, by using the Smart Search. You can free text your assessment and plan in the Notes section below. close out, you'll see your assessment and plan here. Once your documentation has been completed, scroll up to the virtual progress note and click the telephone encounter link. This will open the telephone encounter window that you are currently working on. Now we're going to add your student note disclaimer. Under the Action Taken section, click on the Add Action Taken. Select Browse and click on Student. This will automatically merge the student note disclaimer into your telephone encounter. Click OK. Once completed, leave the status as Open and assign the telephone encounter to your preceptor using the drop-down or the ellipses, and click OK. Once you have assigned the telephone encounter to your attending, they will be able to merge parts of your documentation, such as the HPI and examinations, into the progress note that's created during the patient's appointment. Other documentation, such as current medications and the history sections, will automatically carry forward into the patient's history. Thank you for watching CareLink SF's Student Workflow. For questions or suggestions, email us at carelinksftraining@sfdph.org.